A night out in Sacramento is getting a little bit more expensive. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. And that's because starting this month, all parking meters now will run until 10 p.m. Local business owners say that they are seeing the impact on customers. I want to bring in ABC's Becca Habegger to explain a little bit more about some of the changes people are going to be seeing. Huh, Becca?
Yeah, Alex, prior to July 1st, already 80% of the parking meters in the city of Sacramento had to be fed until 10 p.m. But starting this month, the city expanded that to 100% of its meters. In places like Lavender Heights, where meter enforcement used to end at 6 p.m., the change is leading to confusion and citations.
So like the Comedy Spot, we moved in 2009.
Brian Krall is founder and executive director of the Sacramento Comedy Spot, located on 20th Street between J and K Streets. Until July 1st, parking meter enforcement here ended at 6 p.m. Now it runs until 10 p.m., and Krall says at least 10 customers have complained about getting tickets since the change.
Because we don't want people coming down here, getting a ticket for $77, and then never coming back to the area again. It's hurting business in that area.
Krall brought his concerns to Sacramento City Council members at last week's meeting, asking them to pause restrictive parking enforcement in the area between 6 and 10 p.m.
I don't think there's adequate signage down there right now. Just this past Friday, there were 4 cars lined up that all had tickets. I don't think that they were all rolling the dice to see if they could get away with it. I think that they just didn't know they had to pay. And I don't think all 4 of those people will come back to Sacramento if they're from outside of Midtown.
ABC 10 reached out to the city of Sacramento for an interview about Krall's concerns. A spokesperson replied with a statement saying, "As with all metered parking throughout the city, customers should check the parking meter for the applicable hours when payment is required, including rates and payment instructions for that specific location. All city parking meter signage directs customers to check the meter for details. Customers using the Park mobile app will also see the hours when payment is required before starting a parking session."
The signs on this street do say "See meter display for details." These kiosks do say parking is enforced until 10 p.m. every night of the week, but Brian Krall says he thinks that information should be printed clearly on all the signs along the street.
So if they don't see the kiosk, it doesn't tell you when you have to park. So now people are like, do I, don't I?
Krall says he does appreciate how responsive the city has been to his concerns, including his council member Phil Pluckybaum and city staff. We spoke with Krall right after he had a Zoom meeting with 2 city parking managers.
Very nice people, again, proposing solutions, trying to figure things out. And they're actually putting a hold on some of the enforcement for a while they do try and create signage that's a little bit more clear.
He shared an email from one of the parking managers saying immediate actions will include adding the hours of meter operation directly to the parking meter signs to make it clear to customers when payment is required, in addition to several other measures meant to help ease drivers into the new later parking meter enforcement period. Krall says ideally he'd like to see parking enforcement rolled back to 6 p.m. in evening entertainment districts.
I know they're trying to do their best, but I would just like them to really think about this situation, how special this corridor has been and will continue to be to Sacramento. And maybe we can make special exceptions for parts of the town.
The city points out meter rates did not increase this fiscal year. I spoke on the phone with Councilmember Phil Pluckybaum, whose district includes Midtown and downtown. He says parking issues are the highest frequency complaint his office receives, and the city tries finding solutions that balance the city's need for revenue with the needs of businesses and customers. Alex?
All right, Becca, thank you so much.